So today I wanted to share some of my thoughts about the flipped classroom as I've been researching and really looking at what it might take to implement in my own classroom. I wanted to share some of the thoughts I had as I was reading this material so that in turn other teachers and educators can consider in their own classroom as well. Some of my overall impressions about the concept is that it's just a really innovative strategy that might take a lot of time to implement at first and to be able to gather all the videos in order to have the material you need for all your lessons throughout the whole school year. However, at the same time, it's really going to be a way to effectively differentiate to all of our students. Some arguments that I looked at that were for and against, I wanted to highlight some of the ideas within those arguments to be able to say these are some considerations to make as you're considering implementing the flipped classroom in your own for your own students' learning. One of the significant benefits is due to the fact that your classroom will be devoted to active learning is that you will have much more one-on-one time with each student. Now this has many benefits. You are going to obviously know a lot more about your students and their learning, but you're also going to be able to further their learning. They're going to have much more social environment in the classroom to be able to connect with other students, have much more peer teaching environments, and just the social aspect is going to be a very positive benefit for your classroom. But 90% of your time won't be spent lecturing. 90% of your time will be engaging the students in their active learning as they apply the knowledge that they've already learned through the video content. And with that concept is the other benefit is that you're encouraging mastery of content. Students are able to view these videos at home. They're able to stop, pause, replay sections that they need to review or need to spend some more time considering and just pondering what it really means so that they not only are able to replicate the methods. If you're teaching a math concept, they're not only able to finish a problem, but they understand the how and the why to be able to then transfer that knowledge to a new setting. So you're encouraging mastery and not just memorization. Another benefit is that you have shorter lecture time. One article that I really appreciated was from EDUCAUSE. It was a 2012 article, and it wrote it mentioned about the thoughtful educators that we will become in the flipped classroom model because of the fact that we are able to engage students in active learning, so it's going to take a lot of energy from the teacher's standpoint to create activities that will actually further their learning in the classroom, as well as help us focus how to create these really short videos that are 5, maybe at the tops 10 minutes long, but that is your direct instruction time. So if it's superfluous material that you wanted to include in the class, that it doesn't actually it doesn't actually get included because it isn't essential to the lesson. And so you really condense and formulate your ideas and help students to be able to see the overarching essential questions, the main ideas, etc. There's a very specific example that was mentioned in the EDUCAUSE article that I quoted earlier, and it was about a photo editing software class where the students, because of the sake of all the tools and necessary to understand how to actually use it in application to create a project, that if they were able to watch the lessons at home, they can learn about each tool and how it works and then slowly pause and go back to be able to understand. And then when they came to class, they had the time there to use it for their own projects, to be able to apply that knowledge that they learned at home. So instead of having most of the class time devoted to teaching this large group of students about these tools, the teacher could then just have this really short video at home that they're able to pause, play, look at, make sure that they understand, and then apply it the next day. Some of the arguments against are very good things to think about, good considerations. One that was mentioned in the Forbes article from Pascal Emmanuel Gorby is that there is a digital divide that this can create within our students, where some students may have an iPad or a tablet to access information readily. They might have computer access as well as internet at home, and others may not. And so one thing to consider is, what do your students have? Is this a feasible program? Do I need to make all the videos downloadable so they do that in school and then they have them without internet access at home? Or do we have a grant for this school that we can get iPads to our whole classroom that they're able to use for these projects, or do most of my students already have that at home as well? Do they have smartphones? What are the actual resources that my students have, so that this doesn't create a burden for my students' education, but that it's another way for access and is actually encouraging the learning environment at home as well. Another consideration is that if this is a school-wide implementation, how much more video time at home, how much more homework is this going to be? But I think one of the biggest differences to consider within even this argument is that students already have homework. They're already coming home overloaded with information, overloaded with things to do, and that this is because the videos need to be so short and very direct that it's not actually going to increase the amount of homework, but it will actually reduce. If students don't understand how to do an assignment, that it's going to take them a lot longer to complete it and then come to the school still with questions the next day, as opposed to if they're just watching 2 to 3 5-10-minute videos per night per class. That's going to be a lot smaller time frame than what it would take to do one assignment that they may not have entirely understood just from their class time. And then the last argument against the application of the flipped classroom model is the idea of encouraging more screen time. A lot of our students already spend a lot of time researching, maybe, hopefully, but also, watching videos, playing games, and all sorts of screen time that they're already using. That do we really want to encourage more? And once again, I go back to that statement of we have a very direct, small window with which we are asking students to access at screen time. 3 to 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if it's really a lengthy lesson, but maybe 2 videos of shorter length, so that this is a very educational purpose online. They're already interested in this kind of technology. Why not use their interest to be able to give them information that they will then get a chance to learn in a deeper and more influential ways in the classroom? So that this is just a way to use their interest that they already have in a new application where we are providing educational information through a medium that they enjoy using. Some of the tech tools that you will need and that I will need in terms of implementing this in our classroom is considering what tools we have, what tools the schools already use for technological purposes. Do we have Schoology? Do we have Infinite Campus? Do we use Moodle? How are we able to create a way for our students to access this information? Maybe we set up a class website where each unit or each lesson, all the videos are downloadable from there. And so those are some of the considerations for you to make in terms of understanding what your school district uses as well. Obviously, you'll need some way to take video. Do we need a camera? Do you have something built in on your laptop? What other resources do you have? And then also, one thing that I would really like is a online discussion board. Where can I put this? And I think the best way would be either a school blog or a school or a class webpage would be really beneficial, so that as students are watching the videos, that they have a direct access to their classmates and they can post a question, or they obviously can come to information next day, but if they really wanted information that in that moment, that they could connect with their classmates and potentially the teacher as well in an online format if they chose to do so. So these are some of my considerations. I have another article that I wanted to suggest for more information, and it just gives a lot more details about Jonathan Bergman and Aaron Sams, who are 2 science teachers from the Woodland Park High School in Woodland Park, Colorado. And they started the flipped classroom in their science classes almost by accident. They started to use it more for absentee students and having videos, and they found other students access that, and it actually aided the learning environment in their classes, and so they went running with that concept and really have built a really good program. And they wrote a book about it, and so this is a little bit of article about them, so you can have more information. It's called The Flipped Classroom. It's from Education Next. It is from their winter 2012 issue, and I really enjoyed reading some of that. And also Katie Gimbar has some videos on YouTube that gives a very good application view of what it would look like in your own classroom. Thank you.